Welcome to World Ballet Day 2023, a day that celebrates ballet all across the world. I'm Genevieve, a dancer with the New English Ballet Theatre, and today we're here at Sadler's Wells Theatre, one of London's leading dance organisations.
Hot sun beating down.
This week, we're rehearsing for an exciting new programme of works which will be performing on Thursday the 2nd and Friday the 3rd of November at the Lillian Baylis studio here at Sadler's Wells. Today we'll be doing a run-through of this programme and giving you an insight in how we prepare for our shows. So, let's go and meet some of the company members. So here we are in Studio C at Sadler's Wells Theatre, and I'm joined by Nikki Henshaw, who's been our rehearsal director this season. So Nikki, could you explain a little bit about what the role of rehearsal director is exactly?
My role as rehearsal director is I'm there to facilitate the dancers' needs and to mediate between the choreographer and the dancers. I'm there to rehearse the dancers to the best of their ability so that the pieces are performed in the way in which the choreographer wishes, and to sort of nurture and grow the dancers artistically, physically, and to ensure that everything is sort of as it should be.
So you had a wonderful varied career as a dancer yourself and have now stepped into the role of rehearsal director with numerous dance companies. What made you make that transition, and sort of what skills do you think you've taken from being a dancer into being a rehearsal director?
I danced with English National Ballet for 6 years and left quite young, and I was a research and development dancer for Akram Khan's Giselle, and part of that job was to translate the material to the company dancers. And it was during that process that I realised that I loved facilitating and seeing the dancers grow and embody the material, and I loved using my brain actually in a different way. I've never choreographed, it's not something I've ever done, but working with choreographers, I love. I think the choreographers, you know, they've got so much creative juices, like taking up so much of their headspace and their body, then I can be like more of the logical side. You know, I don't carry all of that burden of this creative vision that they have, and everyone has an eye, and it's like that observation skill in the whole picture, bringing it all together, and I like seeing everything evolve.
There are so many choreographers involved in this programme, so many different styles of pieces. What have you found interesting, exciting about that? And also there must be some challenges along the way.
So this season's a very ambitious season. It's wonderful, it's got many different styles. Act 1 being a brand new commission, quite a classical piece by Danny with a contemporary feel. And then a contemporary piece by Peter. Them being new pieces, there's a lot of work to do, and there's a lot of kind of investigating and sort of finding that voice with the dancers and the choreographer. And then Act 2 is our Genesis programme. What's been challenging is finding the unique styles and anchor points to come in from for the dancers, so that they understand the difference in each piece and each different style that the choreographer wishes to have. Watcher of the Skies, which opens the Genesis act, it's full of very intricate partnering. Pretty much the whole company are in the piece. Moving to the Cinema Show by Ruth Brill, that's actually quite a heavily narrative piece that she's made. It's been fun getting into those lyrics and sort of bringing out what the choreography is saying through that narrative thread that's in the music already. Kristen's pieces, I Can't Dance, Invisible Touch, they're just so wonderful to work on, and the dancers can really just feel freedom and nuance to her style, which is very different actually, to Valentino's piece, 3rd to 5th. Very classical, accentuating the physical lines, the neoclassicism within the dancers, but also then giving it that sort of laid back, chilled, sort of almost like out in the club style. It's nice to have that eclectic mix of voices and choreographic language and music.
Well, we've all been very thankful to have you along the journey and, you know, putting us through our paces and making sure that everything's as it should be, and the way that you are that go-between from the choreographer to us as the dancers, where some things may not have translated properly, but you're wonderful at facilitating that transfer of knowledge. I'm here with Sandy, who has danced for the company on numerous occasions and is back with us again for 2023. Could you tell us a little bit about how you find working with the company? What are the sort of interesting aspects of working with a company of this size and the opportunities that come with that?
Yeah, so this bill this year is actually really interesting because it's quite varied in terms of like the styles and the pieces and stuff like that. And one of the best things about NEBT, as you're aware, is getting new work made on you. The choreographers quite often work collaboratively with the dancers, so a lot of the plans kind of shift in the space and the work grows in that way. And so it's really nice to be part of a group where work being made on you is intrinsically yours. So you remember certain parts of the choreography better because they're ones that you made. And this bill's been really interesting for that because Danny's piece is quite sort of, it has a contemporary twist to it, but the vocabulary is quite classical. Whereas Peter's is very contemporary and is a lot more grounded. And then the work of Genesis that's been sort of adapted on people as we've sort of altered casting and had bits and pieces going in and out. It's really changed with the group in each number. And that is one of the nicest things about this particular bill, is it feels really like it's been designed for the company who are doing it at the moment. And that's always a really nice thing to be part of, especially with such a small group of people.
I'm joined by George now, who is a new member of the company for 2023 and a recent graduate. So George, how have you found, firstly, being with NEBT and the sort of unusual challenge of working with Genesis music? It's probably not what you thought one of your first jobs out of ballet school would be.
No, of course not. I mean, I'm so used to working with, you know, very classical music, so to almost do sort of the opposite, work with a progressive rock band, you think, whoa, I'm not used to this, and you have to really dive into your, you know, artistic, I guess, license and you know, try and get the, you know, try and do it and the best you can. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been a challenge, obviously. I feel, you know, I'm quite young, so I'm still developing. I'm just trying to sort of be a sponge and, and soak up everything. I'm working with NEBT so far, this being my first job. It's been a real privilege. You know, there's so many works on the plethora of choreographers. You know, I wouldn't have expected this coming out of school, and I feel very grateful to be able to be given the ability to showcase my work. I think I'm really grateful to be able to have people to look up to in the company. Everybody's facilitated you as a person and you as a dancer, and they've really sort of pushed you into an area that you can feel comfortable in a really kind environment. And it's made me sort of come out of my shell a bit, develop, and obviously the choreographers, they know obviously you're a little bit younger and you've still got a chance to prove yourself, and they almost give you that chance with the roles that they have, and you know, you can see a bit of yourself in that. So it's been really wonderful. I'm really grateful.
We're just about to start a run through for our performances on Thursday and Friday. We start with Daniela Carding's Baroque Encounters set to Bach music. Then we move on to Peter Luang's All in Passing. Then we'll be rehearsing Act 2, which is the Genesis Dance Project, with choreography by Ruth Brill, Valentino Cecchetti, Wayne Eagling and Kristen McNally.
sinking fast, that happens, you know. The water gets low. Seems like very long ago. Lovelier she was than any that I know. The face in the water looks up. She shakes her head as if to say that the bluebells are all. Dabs her skin with pretty smells concealing to appear. Listen to your one speak. Oh, he has lived through. I have crossed between the worlds. For me there's no mystery. Like a cancer growth, it's removed by skill. Let it be with love, na, 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 na.
We hope you've enjoyed this insight into our rehearsal day. And all there's left to say is, Happy World Ballet Day!